Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Dropping Into Happiness. We are your hosts. I am Rachel.
And I'm Maggie.
Welcome, friends. So, what are we on? Episode 55 today. Episode 55. This is a listener requested episode. I'm going to have Maggie get all into that after we do a little bit of announcements. So, from last week's episode, with my super cutie patootie cousin Emma, had mentioned that her school has a 100-mile club. And so the kids tried to hit 100 miles within a certain amount of time. And we did have interest from some of you guys saying, I'm down for that. So I swear Maggie and I are talking it over. We're trying to figure out how we can have this be almost interactive, how we can track it, what's going to be our incentive. So I think it could be really, really fun. So this is going to be a good one. Even if we just do it for a 3-month period and not necessarily an entire year kind of thing, I just think it could really help us collectively as a community kind of have a goal that we can all kind of cheer each other on for. So that's going to be fun. Promise you we're working on that. Yes. And then we did mention at the end of last week's episode, so should you have maybe bowed out by then, we do have a Patreon up now. So Patreon is a website where you guys can go to support the podcast. So there will be multiple levels where you can support, because this is a financial kind of support thing for creators. And so the very minimum account is up right now. And so that gets you guys certain benefits. Like you'll get a shout out on the show. There'll be like exclusive content that you'll have. The higher levels are going to get maybe even some additional episodes, like a Motivation Monday kind of thing. So we're really excited about it. It's something new that we're going into this year, just to help support the podcast and all that we do and bring you guys this show every single week, because it is near and dear to our hearts. I cannot tell you how much is a passion of mine, this podcast. It really is, because if anybody's ever heard of Simon Sinek, he has this TED Talk and he says, start with why. And I think essentially he meant it for business, but I really like to utilize that in my whole life. Like this is what I do, but why do I do it? And I kid you not, like why we do this podcast is why it's such a passion for me. And I mean, I could seriously probably have a whole episode of why this is such a passion project for me.
Yeah. We probably should. You should put that on the schedule for March, because now folks are going to be interested. You got them in with the hook on that one.
I know. I was like, literally, I was walking into my other job one day and I'm constantly thinking about things I can do with the SunDrops and the podcast. And like, that's where my brain always is. It really, really is. Because it's just something I've always wanted to do. And then when I met Maggie, it just clicked. Like it just was, she's the person I think we should do this together. And then topic ideas and submission. Maggie's going to go over that as well. And then I do want to throw this out there real quick. I know we say it often, but I want to make sure you guys truly, truly, truly know that we thank you so much for ratings and reviews. I can't tell. I've had some of you guys' reviews bring me to tears, because I'm telling you, like, this is a passion for us. But when you guys tell us how it affects you and how it benefits you, it just brings me back to that passion. So I love seeing your reviews. Thank you so much for all the ratings. It definitely helps us out getting more exposure and all of that. So thank you. But on to Maggie. Maggie's up next.
And, we were talking about the Patreon, and that is a small financial commitment, but there are so many things you can do for any creators that you enjoy that are totally free. Like Rachel said, the ratings and reviews go a long way. Also following social media platforms, and then liking, commenting, saving on the posts. The more that you do those things, the better the reach that we have. And then from that, more opportunities will come. So again, if Patreon is not something that you're in a season of life to commit to right now, don't stress. There's still lots of wonderful, wonderful free ways you can support us in our endeavors. So in terms of topic requests, I think some of our best episodes come from ideas that you all have given us.
I think so too.
Yeah, we want you all to never forget. You can always send in topic requests through our email, dropping into happiness podcast.
I think it's just dropping into happiness at gmail.com.
Dropping into happiness at gmail.com. And then our website, dropping into happiness, as well. Those are two different resources. Of course, Instagram is always an option, dropping into happiness pod. But reach out to us over there. Let us know what we should talk about. We've got our schedule laid out for February. But we are always looking to add on. March will be here before we know it. So any ideas?
Right. Right. Because this is dropping on, February 1st? Yeah.
Yeah.
So officially today. We're in February. We're hitting it.
Going crazy
strong.
too. January went by so quickly. Like
I feel like
it
it was fast and slow at the same time, though. I really do. Like the other day, I had to go talk to, I think my gym had messed up something, and I really felt like it was like over a month ago that I had gone in there, and I looked at, and it was like January 5th. I was like, for real? Like it was this month I did that? Like it, yeah. So it feels very fast and very slow sometimes, but
yeah, they say, well, the days are long, but the years are short.
Yes, yes.
I really feel like the older we get, the more real that becomes. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So today's topic, though, who submitted today's topic?
One more announcement I wanted to make that I forgot. We wanted to say we a couple of episodes back celebrated several folks who had listened to every episode of the podcast up to date. And one person that we failed to mention is Bob from NYC, one of our loyal SunDrops. So, Bob, we know you're listening to this.
Bob.
We love you. Thank you for your support. And he always jokes that he is talking to us.
Yeah.
But we're not talking back. So I'm going to give like a quick moment. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Hey, Bob.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you're doing well, Bob. That is awesome. And the doggo thinks so too. All right, so I think we're ready to jump in. This topic was again a suggestion from actually one of my workshop friends. Her name is Amanda. So thank you, Amanda, for suggesting this topic. But we wanted to look into, what is our go-to for setting up meals for the next week without feeling totally overwhelmed? So just our tips for meal planning, meal prepping, because when you're looking at a full week, 21-ish meals, that can feel overwhelming. Like, where do we start? So, Rachel, where do you start?
Honestly, I feel like I've mentioned this at least a couple of times, but I have the same breakfast every day. And I know that's not everybody's jam. And I kid you not, though, I've probably had the same breakfast at least 98% of the time since 2016. I know.
Whoa, that's like even pre-WW.
Yes. And so it's evolved and it's gotten, it's kind of changed, and I've added things and I've changed things up, but essentially I have my same breakfast every day. So I never ever worry about my breakfast. Everybody in my household is a little different. So, like my husband likes an egg sandwich. My son likes like a parfait. My daughter, she's like a mid-morning to a lunchtime. I remember, oh my God, y'all, it was so cute. I think she was in like 5th grade, and it was lunchtime, and she kept telling me, what are we having for breakfast? And I was like, no, baby, it's lunchtime. And she was like, no, what are we having for breakfast? And I was like, no, honey, breakfast was this morning. You didn't have any breakfast. She was like, I know. So what am I having for breakfast? Because in her brain, regardless,
it was the first meal of the day.
Yes, it was her first meal. So that was breakfast. And technically she's right, because that's where the term comes from, right? That you're breaking your fast. So technically she was right. But I will always remember that. So she's just not a breakfast eater. So I have
it's crazy. I feel like a lot of the youths are like that. And I remember being like that when I was younger.
Too.
Like, I didn't want to eat first thing in the morning. Our days started so early, and I really didn't have an appetite. I remember my dad would be like, you're not getting up from this table until you eat something, because he really, believed in the power of fueling our brains and bodies.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember just being so difficult about that. Like, no.
And when I got to the point in my life where I realized it was important, it almost made me not nauseous, but I had to like force myself to get used to eating breakfast. And even when I wake up, I'm not hungry. It's just what I do. But I also really dig my breakfast. I enjoy it. I love it. I kid you not. Sometimes I make it for dinner also, because I love it so much. So I look forward to it. I'm like, ooh, I get to have my breakfast. Yeah. And I look forward to it. So I don't have something that I don't like that people just say that I should be eating. It is something I genuinely enjoy and I look forward to. But I've got fiber, I have protein, I have whole wheat, I have, because I have eggs, spinach, whole wheat toast, fruit, green tea. Like, I start my day with things that are very much a fuel. And so it just all across the board, it hits all points for me. So same breakfast every day.
Yeah, I being a teacher and having to, I start work at 7:25 in the morning. And I'm like in front of people. Like you're putting on a show when
Yeah.
you're a teacher. I'm not always hungry right when I wake up, but I know that if I don't eat and then I'm trying not to eat in front of my students like before lunchtime, then I'm gonna be up a creek, as they
Yeah.
say, like come one period, two periods in, because you're burning energy when you're like in
Yes.
front of the crowd doing your thing. I I'm with you in that I could definitely eat a similar breakfast every single day. I feel like if I had to pick, I would be a breakfast sandwich
Mm-hmm.
girly. I find that I have a few different go-to breakfasts that are on rotation, and I
Oh,
have like one of the biggest characteristics I need in a breakfast, especially Monday through Friday, is can I eat it in the car?
yeah.
Because I was in a routine for a while of like prepping the exact same breakfast Monday through Friday, exact same lunch Monday through Friday, taking it all to work
Mm-hmm.
Monday and it being in my fridge, and that worked for a while. And I'm not going to say I'm never going to go back to that, but I'm kind of in a season where I kind of want the flexibility. Like if I don't want that, I can
Yeah.
still make something different that I can still take with me on the go, and it's simple. So I think one when it comes to meal planning and not getting overwhelmed, think about like your realistic tendencies. So
Yes.
one of my realistic tendencies for breakfast is to eat in the car, right? And then for lunch, you
Yeah.
have to like recognize what do you typically have available to you. Like if you work outside of your home, I have a microwave, but like I don't have an air fryer at my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Right? I wish I did. But like, I have a microwave, or like some people might not even have a microwave or have a fridge. So they have
Yeah.
to think through those kinds of things. Like I think that's something we leave out of a conversation often when it comes to meal planning and prepping, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to know like what are your tendencies? How do you need your food to function? Because that's going to narrow some of your options down anyway and make it a little bit less overwhelming. And
Yeah.
then for dinner, I have a lot more flexibility of like how things can be prepped
Mm-hmm.
and prepared. So that's where I tend to have more of the variety. But this week's topic in workshops, the week that we're recording this, was actually about building satisfying meals. So Rachel kind of hit on some of
Ah,
the steps there without even I think realizing it. But like
yeah.
the first is like
Unintentionally.
start with a protein or a fiber rich food as your base, and then bulk it up. They use the word bulk, right? Bulk it up with a non starchy veggie or fruit because that's where you're going to get your fiber and you can
That's what
really
I do.
exactly eat those abundantly. Then the next step is like enhance. So, like, pick your carb or your starchy vegetable, your bread, your pasta, your rice. So, like, Rachel's like, I got my bread, right?
Yeah.
And then you take it a step further with the flavor, and that's where you use your oils or your cheese or your nut butters or
Mm-hmm.
your
Avocado.
seasonings and those kinds of things. Avocado. So I have found that I am starting to look at recipes through that lens. Like when I'm picking out a recipe, I'm looking at like, does this hit all four of the steps? And if it doesn't, like,
Yeah.
is there room for me to add something in? Because so a couple of weeks ago, I think I mentioned on the podcast last episode that my star goal has been like how many meals I'm going to eat from like things I make at home versus
Oh yeah.
getting
Yeah. Yeah.
takeout.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been really working on like trying out new recipes and getting excited about the food that I'm making from home. So the first week that I kind of started to get into this routine, I was picking out a lot of fun recipes, but then my mom, bless her, she was like, "Where are the vegetables? Like you need a side, or like broccoli or something thrown in there." And I was like,
Yeah.
or she was like a side salad. So then the following week, when I picked out recipes, if it didn't have like a vegetable really involved, I just threw like a side salad with it. And
Oh
that was something
yeah.
that I could like really easily prep the night before when I was packing up my lunch. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the way that I've been working recently, like I mentioned, I used to like do a big batch prep for Monday through Friday breakfast and lunch, but I just kind of got burnt out doing that and wanted to shake things up. And so now I've been making more frequent meals throughout the week for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
but then like packing the leftover for lunch the very next day. And so
Yeah.
like I'm still excited about that meal. And I know I'm gonna have something for different for dinner, so it's like doesn't feel too redundant and it takes out some of the
Yeah.
extra prep work that I was having to do because most recipes make 4 to 6 servings, and it's
Yeah.
just me and Seth. So oftentimes I personally have leftovers, where if you have like a family, doubling the recipe or,
Yeah, I have to make
single and a
sure
half.
that I can feed obviously at least 4 people. And
Yeah.
it's funny that you say that because I do that too. So my breakfast is the same every single day, but a huge amount of time my lunch at work the next day was my dinner the night before. So I do always try to make something that I enjoy, because like I said, I'm not going to force myself to eat something that I don't like. And I feel like a lot of times when people are just starting their journey, they're like, oh, well, I should be eating broccoli. But if you hate broccoli, you're not going to want to do it. You're not going to look forward to it. And then essentially, and I literally just had a listener reach out to me. I swear, I think it was, it was yesterday. Listener Amy on our Instagram. And she was saying how she was working on that this week. She said, I've gotten into a bad habit of deciding to order food instead of eating what I brought for lunch. And that's what I literally told her that yesterday. I was like, honestly, I have to be excited about what I brought, or I get that same feeling like, oh, I don't want to eat that. And then I end up making a decision that I really didn't want to make because I've already planned it out. So plan out something that you do enjoy. But like I said, I have 3 other people in my house that are not on any kind of plan or program. So I have more flexibility with my dinners. And then, us WW members out there, I try to do as low a points as I can for breakfast to my snacks and my lunch, because for dinner, I'm eating what everybody else is eating. I'm not making a separate meal for myself. I'm not, altering it in any way. I'm having what everybody else is having. Sometimes I'll have a smaller portion than them because I still portion it out to my point value, but I eat the same thing as everybody else. But sometimes, I think we had like spaghetti the other day, and I did it with, like ground turkey, sugar-free tomato sauce, and like all that. But I'll even put it in a container before I feed everybody if I need to.
Right.
So that I don't forget, because I'm like, hey, I'm already plating food. I might as well plate it in a container right now, stick it in the fridge. Boom. I know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow.
Right.
So
that's what I was doing too. Like before I even sat down to eat dinner. So that way it was done, not only to account for it, but then I didn't have to do it later when I was tired, or like first thing in the morning when I'm rushing and doing a million other things.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important to, like you were saying, for the excitement level, I'm like that with dinner. Like breakfast and lunch, I'm kind of locked in. Because of just the nature of my job. But with dinner, if I'm not like excited about whatever I have in the fridge already, I'm like, let's get takeout. Let's go like get fast food. And like Seth is very easily convinced. So if I suggest something, he's like, yeah, sure, sounds good.
Yeah.
So I have started when this is all very fresh, everyone, but like in the past couple of weeks, I've sat back down, and this is something I used to do in the past, and as it goes, you just like get away from things. But I just think about like, oh, what just food in general sounds good to me this week, and like enchiladas. Okay, great. WW enchilada recipe. So many things come up on the old Google machine or like in your WW app. And if you're not following WW, you could say like low calorie or like healthy enchiladas or whatever.
Pinterest.
Pinterest, right? Good old fashioned Pinterest. Or like Seth and I had been really craving chicken pot pie. So it's just like WW chicken pot pie recipe. And there were so many different ones that came up. And the one that we made was delicious. And I like really looked forward to it, for lunch the next 2 days. Or like thinking about just some of the foods in general that I would get from takeout. Okay, well, like pizza. Okay, yes. How can I just make that at home and like have that on the menu plan and have the ingredients? And then if Seth wants his like blaze pizza from out, like I can just make my 2-ingredient dough pizza in the oven. And I know that only takes like 15-20 minutes max. Where then like, okay, I know on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I basically work from 7 in the morning to 8:45 at night. Those are crock pot days, or those are days where like it's a 20-minute kind of thing where I could make it on a break and then it's ready to go when I'm later for dinner, So, and again, like I mentioned earlier, not only thinking about the function of your food, but like the prep time that it's going to take, that will narrow things down. Like I know on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, a crock pot or like something that I've prepped.
Well, and you let it work for you, and then that's not a stress for you. That's not, and like pun not intended, but that's, something less off your plate that you have to worry about. You know what I mean? So that's just one more thing. I was the exact same way. When I was still coaching with WW, I was working from, like 7 a.m. to like 8 p.m. at night on every Wednesday. So every Wednesday I had something in the crock pot because I knew right in between a workshop I could plate and serve to the family 100%.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized too with the crock pot is it doesn't always have to be super chilly. Like there are just tons of different crock pot recipes. I made a crock pot cracked chicken. I think that's what it was
about
called.
that the other day. Yeah.
It was so good. And then you could have it like with pasta or with rice or on a bed of salad. Like there were so many different things you could do with it. And then it was very easy. That's one of the recipes that I was like, oh, where's my vegetable? Like I should have steamed some broccoli or something. But again, like it's a learning lesson. It's all good. But two, like families, you know, that are not on plan, like Seth's not on any kind of plan, but I'll be like, hey, like, was there anything you were craving this week? I'll see if I can find like a WW recipe for it. And then he's down to try it.
Yep.
And then it gets him involved, and you know, he might have ideas that I wasn't thinking about, or you know, and
I
I'm
ask
like,
my kids all the
that
time.
sounds really good too.
What do you want this week? What are you craving? What's something that you wanted to have for a while? Yeah, ask the family. Like you said, you can find other ways to make it, versions of the recipe. Because like I said, I did our spaghetti different, and like nobody cared. Everybody was like, it tastes exactly like regular spaghetti. Like I used sugar-free spaghetti sauce. I used a 99% fat-free ground turkey. Was exactly the same. Like nobody felt any different about it. So
yeah. And there are some things like Seth is particular about his noodles, so like I'll boil his noodles and then I'll boil my like chickpea or whatever like noodles that are a little bit lower in points. Like those takes 2 pots, which is, you know, whatever, but it doesn't take much time difference. And so I don't mind like doing some of those types of things. Or like we made burgers. We made like a smash burger recipe, and I made him 80-20 like Chuck, and I used my 96-4, and then you know I had leftovers that I could freeze or what have you. So, you know, there's always ways to kind of work with when it comes to family with meal planning. But
well,
I think mindset too, like plays a big difference. Like again, I apply this to all areas of my life. But if I'm telling myself that something is overwhelming, then it's going to be overwhelming. You know, like no matter what you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. Then it's going to be really overwhelming. But if you kind of say like, wow, this is so exciting. Like I get to set myself up for success for the week. I feel like you just go into it with a completely different mindset. You know, I have that too, and I've probably
do you have the yellow one
of that.
For those that aren't on YouTube? The 52-week meal planner, WW. I believe it's yellow now, but I love this little book. I can write things out. I can get my meal ideas, but then also I can go back previous weeks. Cause look, we always eat out every Thursday, like literally every Thursday. The kids know like where are we going to eat out today? So I always know to have extra points on that day.
I think it's good to plan the out meals also.
I think I like to do, honestly, okay, as overwhelming as planning my meals can feel, for myself and for my journey, it's more beneficial because if I don't, there is way more of a chance that it's going to be like, oh, let's just pick up something. And I don't like that because I'll end up using points that I didn't anticipate to use. Like twice this week, I ended up having pizza. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I plan, and I've said this before too, when I plan meals, the one thing I like to plan most about my food are my snacks. Because I am a snacker. I need to snack regularly because if I get too hungry, I make bad decisions. Like Thursday night, we ended up having pizza. I had 3 slices. Did I have the points for it for my weeklies? Yeah, I did. But I didn't want to use them. But I did because I had let myself get to hungry. And literally as it was happening, I was like, this is what happens when you don't snack in the afternoon.
Look, last night, let me tell you all a tangent story really quick about hangry levels. Because yes, the power of snacks are so important. And when in doubt, eat a snack. Like,
yes.
Just because if you're not exactly sure how long it's going to be to your next meal and you're feeling the hunger pain, eat a snack. That's one thing.
Yep.
But last night we had planned there's this place in town. It's a chain, but it's not very big. It's called Slim Chickens. And I love that they opened it because they have grilled chicken tenders.
I love that
not
name.
A lot of places do. I know, me too. So they have the fried chicken and all of that, but they have grilled chicken tenders.
Nakey tenders, yay!
Woo! And Seth loves the fried, and so I don't have FOMO. If I don't want to spend the points on fried, I'm like, I'll just get grilled chicken tenders. And last night, it's a relatively new spot in town, and it was popping.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, we were in the drive-thru from I set a timer because I was like, ooh, I know that this is going to be long.
Yeah.
We were in there from the time we pulled in to the time we rolled away, 53 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like committed, and We were in there for 53 minutes. And it
Oh my
was no
gosh.
fault. There was just a lot of people. Like, it was wrapped around the building twice.
Oh my.
So,
That's a very Chick-fil-A
and they're
thing. Yeah.
made fresh to order too. So it's just like,
Oh,
oh gosh.
wow.
But I had ordered I wanted only the grilled chicken tenders because I knew I had golden crinkle cut fries from Orida in the
Oh,
freezer that I could weigh and measure and just like pop in the air fryer because I
yeah.
love fries,
Me too.
but Slim Chickens is not in the app, and I'm in my era where I really want to know the points of everything, so I'm trying to ride that wave. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, make the French fries at home. Well, after 53 minutes of waiting in the drive-thru, I was like next level hungry.
Yep.
And we got back and Seth wanted a shower before we ate. So then I'm plating the food and everything, and they gave me a side of fries and toast with the grilled chicken tenders. And I was like,
They're just staring at you.
because I was so hungry, and I was like, Maggie, you've committed. And so I did eat 2 fries.
Yeah.
But then I was like, girl, just put your fries in the air fryer. Like, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's scary when you're that, like, when you've gotten to the
Yes.
point of like being
Yeah.
overly hungry. Like, it's
I don't
just
like
so
that
hard to
feeling.
stick to plans. So
Mhm.
yes, friends, long story short, I should have brought a banana for the drive-thru. Like, who would have thought?
Now you know. Yeah.
Now you know. Well,
Now
next
you
time we're
know.
gonna do online order. 'Cause I was like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah.
love that for them, but oh my gosh. So anyway,
Definitely.
I don't even know where we're at. Like, have we been talking for a while?
I know. Yeah. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. And I know I have a little example of what I utilize for my snacks, but I think I'm going to wait and do this with my recommendations. So do we want to start with our goals and recommendations for this week?
Great idea. My recommendation, am I going first?
You can. Yeah.
Okay, I just kind of took the reins there. My recommendation is I have 3 different recipe bloggers that I like that I think make, picking out recipes fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have mentioned these in the past, like in previous episodes, but in case you're skipping around, thepounddropper.com.
Mm-hmm.
She is a WW goat, as they say, like greatest of all time. Pound Dropper is amazing. She does lots of different recipes and like those menu items that I mentioned, like the food that everyone in the family can get excited about. And
Yeah.
if it's something that you're craving, she probably has a recipe for that.
Yep.
And then Chef Allie's Kitchen.com is another great one. And then, like, even just in her little website bio, I see buffalo chicken pita pizzas. Like, how good does that sound?
Yeah.
Brownie batter baked oatmeal bowl, strawberry cheesecake protein ice cream. Like, it gets you going. Like,
Yeah.
that
gets
like,
exciting.
Yes,
that looks like
I
something you
want
look
to plan
forward
it.
to. Yes.
And then Allie Carte dishes. It's like Allie, like the name, Allie, Carte, like a la carte dishes is another great website. So I really encourage anyone who needs recipe inspo for picking out meals, check out their pages. And then my star goal. So last week I had set the goal of 12 out of 15 meals made from home. I want to maintain that star goal this week, but I'm going to level it up. For those of you on YouTube, I keep looking at my bookcase because I want to use my planner that I have that Rachel just showed. So I will commit to writing my menu plan and grocery list on my 52-week planner.
I do love that. It folds open one more time for those that don't know. And like you can write your grocery list as you're writing your meal plan. I love that little planner. It's such a good one.
Just brilliant. Mm-hmm. And I've been using my teacher planner. Yeah. We're still going strong. So I'm like, I have the power to use another food planner if I wanted to. And It's on the shelf collecting dust. So.
I know mine was within arm's reach. Like I usually try to keep it very close by. But this is not my goal, but I am going to toot my own horn for a second because for a long time, your goal was your consecutive days of trekking, right? And I'm at a very happy streak for myself because I can't tell you guys how long it's been for me to have what I will even show you my blue dots. It's been so long since I had a very good like blue dot. Where are they? Why can't I find my blue dots now? It's like not showing them. Wait. Da-da-da. It's been so long since I've had this many blue dots.
Oh my gosh. That's a
It's
lot.
and on the days that I did not have a blue dot, I still never went over. I never went into the negative. So that's another.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm very excited. So my tracking streak now is, I don't even know. It just says don't lose your track streak because I didn't track my breakfast today. So let me see what I've got. Let me see where I'm at. 29 days. Yes.
Yay. Mine reset. But apparently, so if that happens to you all, you can reach out to 24/7 chat. If you're an employee, you go through a different route, but you can reach out to 24/7 chat and let them know the approximate day you believe your streak was lost.
Aww.
And they're working on reinstating that for people. So I think I'm at, hold on. I'm also
so which essentially means though that I have every single day in January I have tracked something, and I'm and actually I've tracked the entire day because if I start my day tracking, I usually end my day tracking. You know what I mean? Like I'm that person. If I can at least track breakfast, I'll do the rest of the day.
I would say I'm at approximately 3 days, but my streak reset, so like I'm at 13, but it was around day 60 when that happened, and I remember being like, no, but I just have to take the steps to get it reinstated. Hopefully that will.
Well, I have another streak too that I'm very proud of. So this is my Fitbit. I'm on like 13 days of hitting my step goal every single day. Because sometimes like on the weekend, I can kind of like, lay it down. But like I said, the last couple of weeks, like even on like a Sunday, if I didn't do that much and I'm only at like 3,000 steps in the evening, I even told my husband, I said, hey, do you mind if I march in place right here? And he's like, no, that's fine. So I'll march in place in my living room or next to my bed just until I hit it. Because I just want to make sure I hit that step goal. And my step goal is not 10,000 steps, just FYI. That is just, that's just a recommended number that does not have to be your number. Mine is 75. So 7,500 steps is my goal. Do I hit 8, 9, 10,000 a day sometimes? Yeah. But my goal on an average day is 75. So.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I'm glad you mentioned the Fitbit because I wear a Whoop. I talked about it in another episode, but and there's like little teams that you can make on Whoop. And if you don't know what Whoop is, you can look at my highlight called Whoop on my Instagram page, Maggie Tracks Magic. But you can create little teams. And then I was asking like, is anybody interested in being in a team on Whoop? And then someone was like, perhaps the SunDrops could have a Fitbit. Like group or challenge. And I was like, I don't have a Fitbit, but Rachel does. So I was like, maybe I don't know what that would look like.
I don't either. Another thing that I got to look into now.
Like a Fitbit challenge or something. I don't know. So
that is so fun. I'm
glad you mentioned your Fitbit because I was meaning to talk to you about that.
That is a great idea. I love that for any SunDrop Fitbitters, and because I had Apple Watch for a really long time, but there are certain features of the Fitbit that I like because I think it prioritizes your fitness more than the Apple Watch. That's because Apple Watch is very. I'm a phone watch that happens to have fitness, and Fitbit is, hey, I'm a fitness watch that happens to have other features. So that's just something I like about the Fitbit. Well, okay, let me get to my goal and recommendation though. So my goal this week is to meal plan a very specific new snack that I tried. So I didn't do a reel for it when I made it the first time because I was like, oh, if this is gross, I don't want to waste all this time. But so I made this snack. I might have mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I made it. And even my son tried one because he saw me making them, and he loves strawberries. And he looked at me and he goes, "Are these like all for you?" I was like, why, bud, do you want some? He's like, yeah. So every morning, the person who was not a big breakfast eater, he's like, if you make these, I will have this for breakfast every single day. So I'm going to make those again this week for everybody in the household. And what it is, because now this is getting into my recommendation. So my recommendation is to try this, y'all. It was so good. So one tub, I think I don't even know the ounce, like 32 ounces maybe of non-fat Greek yogurt. And then you pair that with a sugar-free Jell-O pudding. Ours was the cheesecake. Oh, so we got the cheesecake, sugar-free Jell-O pudding mix. Mix that whole thing together. So the whole packet to the whole tub of the non-fat Greek yogurt. And then I sliced up some strawberries. I had some blueberries, and I got this granola. I swear I scanned every bag of granola in the grocery store to see what had the better points. Literally all the granola was about the same. So you got 28 grams of granola, and like, look what my husband got me. So for those of you who are not on YouTube, it's the cutest little like parfait containers, and they have like a separate, look at Maggie, it has like a separate little shelf. So my granola goes on here, and my yogurt and fruit go on the bottom, and then I have my little top that goes with it. And I have these in a bunch of colors, but because I like to take them to work. And I kid you not. So like we were saying, things to look forward to, because I have a snack at 10 a.m. every day when I'm at work. Oh, and when I have my yogurt there, I'm like, oh, I get my yogurt. It's like, it tastes like a dessert. It tastes like strawberry cheesecake. So, and like I said, I do 28 grams of my granola, and it's just enough, like, especially on my little container, it's just enough to have like granola in every bite. It's 2 points for me. So for the whole thing, and literally that's all the granola. That's the only thing I have points from is the granola, because when you break it down into smaller containers, that serving size is so small, you don't have any points for the Jell-O. So, I know, love it. And my son's like, I will have that every day for breakfast. Like, he digs it so much. So love that it's something that's good and beneficial for him. Love getting those, what is it? What are they? Live acidophilus cultures in the yogurt, because those are good for your gut health, all the good stuff. Yeah. Love it. So that is my goal, is to make sure I have all these prepped for this week. So for everybody in my household. And then, I wanted to share that as my recommendation. So like I said, I got these on Amazon. So hopefully I'll find the link and put the link in our thing if anybody's interested in these particular ones, but they have other ones too. Cause
those are reusable. Like, you just wash them. Yeah.
We put them in the dishwasher, but they have, the majority of them are like 20-ounce cups. I'm like, I don't want a meal. I wanted a snack. So I think this is a 12-ouncer. So just putting that out there. So fun. I love it. I know. I love those. It was so good. Like I said, looking forward to the food.
Joy.
Yes. All right. So it is time for our quote. What was our quote?
Okay. And our quote is, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never the goal. That's a classic.
It is. We've used that in WW before. All right, friends. Well, this has been a fun one. Thank you so much, Amanda, for bringing this up. I hope that it sparks some ideas for you or anybody who's listening, that meal planning, meal prepping does not have to be overwhelming. Go with what you got. Go with what you love. Like I said, I had pizza twice this week and I'm still within my points. So you can do it. You can have those things that you love, you enjoy. And thanks for dropping by.
Have a magical day.
Bye.